Nobody cares about your clothing brand. I'm gonna quickly fly through this. I've been in the game for 3 years, six-figure clothing brand owner, and there are a few things that I've learned in this process. First thing has to be nobody cares about your clothing brand. I had a mentor in the beginning of my journey, and that's something that he really taught to all of us, is that nobody cares. You have to make them care. Just because you feel as though you started this and your family should support, your friends should support, they're not obligated to do that. So I'm just gonna go over a few things that I've learned in the clothing brand space. There will be more videos of me going into depth on these things, but I'm just gonna fly through so you guys can kind of get a glimpse of the things that I know when it comes to owning a clothing brand, and maybe I can help some of you guys scale your own clothing brand. One of the things that I've learned is you don't have to change with the season. A lot of people say, stay on the trends, go with the season. When it's summer, drop summer clothing. When it's fall, drop fall clothing, which is, it's cool, but at the end of the day, you have to know your brand. Some brands don't drop summer clothing at all. Some brands don't drop fall clothing at all. So you don't have to change with the season. Your community will adapt to whatever it is that you do. So if you're dropping hoodies all throughout the year and no summer clothing at all in the summer, then that's just the brand that you are. Stick to it. Another thing that I had to learn quick is that making the money is not the problem. The problem is managing the money, which isn't a problem. I guess it's a challenge. It's something that you have to learn and actually do. Like, you have to manage your money. You can't just blow it, spend it. When it comes to owning a clothing brand, a lot of clothing brands make big money. I've seen it, but you have to manage that big money. Another thing that I learned, which some people might have their own opinions, but I believe that the SMS list is way more powerful than the email list. Of course, build both. It's always good to have both flowing and going, but the SMS list is way more important than the email list. Another thing that I would say is don't trip about chargebacks. If you're being transparent, if you have your policies up, if you have your proof and everything like that, Shopify will fight that chargeback for you. Sometimes, a lot of the times, 99% of the times, you do not have to submit any type of evidence. Shopify will fight that chargeback for you. And of course, it hurts to see money go out the account when the chargeback happens. Once Shopify fights for you, you'll get that money right back. Another thing that I would say is you don't need ads or influencer marketing to make $10,000 a month with your clothing brand. 10K months. You don't need all of that promo, influencer marketing, or anything like that. Like, if you're pushing your brand and you believe in your brand and your mind is set right and you're doing the right work, like you're putting in the effort, those 10K months will be yours. Like, just have to think yourself into it and actually put in that work, man. Another thing I would say is having a solid manufacturer really does matter. But then on top of having a solid manufacturer, do not ever depend on your manufacturer to keep up with your payments or what you owe. Like, don't ever depend on your manufacturer for that. I actually have a story time on that of how my business actually went into debt and we quickly got out of it, but we had some issues with our overseas partners, and it was my fault at the end of the day. Like, I depended on my manufacturer to tell me certain things, and it didn't end up well. But solid manufacturer is pretty important. When it comes to designs, bro, just please let it be hard. Like, honestly, if you're putting in the right work and you're doing the right things, you can push a trash design, I'm not gonna lie, or something super simple, which simple designs aren't always trash. But at the end of the day, just make sure your design is hard. Push them hard. You feel me? Move the traffic from your different platforms to each other. When it comes to TikTok, if you're building, a lot of TikTok followers and things like that, direct that traffic over to Instagram. Same for Instagram. If you're building a lot of Instagram followers and things like that, either send them to your SMS list, your email list, or send them over to TikTok. Always have a supporter, like one individual person following multiple platforms, to always be able to keep up with you. And that goes for all your supporters. If you have 1,000 followers, make sure they follow you on multiple platforms, just so they're always locked in with you, they're always seeing you, and then they're always going to shop with you and support. When it comes to marketing and things like that, I'm gonna just say use some hard sounds. Trending sounds are cool, but then just hard sounds to catch people's attention, like catchy songs that people know. Use those sounds so that they stop and actually look at whatever it is that you're posting. Another thing I would say, especially for TikTok, find a consistent posting style. However you present your brand, make that consistent so people know, like, when they see this type of content, they know that it's you. They can relate, it's familiar. They'll always come back, they'll always watch, they'll always like, because they know it's you. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of other clothing brand tips that I have, in which I might make a part 2 on this, or I might just start going into depth on these things specifically. When nobody cares about your clothing brand, you have to make the people care, make them want to buy, make them want to feel like they want to be a part of this. Nobody cares about your clothing brand. Make them care, bro.